everybody. Welcome to another off season episode. And today I will be covering the surprising finale of Polyfamily. And with me, I have Brian. Hi, Brian. How are you?
But I am fantastic. I am surprised, and I have thoughts. But yeah, I'm ready to talk about this. This episode of this show is wild.
Yeah,
These episodes of this show.
I wasn't expecting it. And I think I saw murmurs of it, like, oh, this is the finale. And I did all the Googling I could, went on the TLC site, didn't see anything about a finale. And then I saw it was 2 hours. And I'm like, I think this is the finale. And now I have thoughts. Do you think it is because of the alleged allegations against Sean?
I think that is the big driver. I think that's
Mm,
got to be kind of the centerpiece of whatever, because 6 episodes is a short run to begin
mm-hmm,
with. They left us in a place where it didn't feel like this is the end of a season. It
mm-hmm.
didn't seem like that was the case.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know what else it could be. The ratings can't be bad enough with like we have to get this stinker off the air or
Yeah.
whatever. And the stuff against Sean is kind of glaring and it seems like it's getting worse.
Oh.
Um and it's well, I mean, just like it's not like it's one thing that came out. It's like it came out and then there was details that was added to it. And it just kind of, the tattoo issue of it all is like kind of grossing people out as well. Have you seen the tattoos on his arms and all that?
No, I haven't. And I think I wanted
Okay.
to say, like, guys, if you listen to the last episode I had on this, we talked a little bit about it where the allegations are what are the allegations? I'm trying to be careful so I don't give this man any
Yeah, we
crummy
don't want
to
to get sued.
yeah, it's things against he allegedly, again, emphasis on the allegedly, has 5 kids, and I think Aid said 2 of them are stepkids, and he's not allowed to see them because of misconduct. Don't know what the
Yes.
details are. I didn't even dive deep because I'm grossed out by it, but I he had them tattooed on himself, but he covered it up.
Yeah. So what it
Okay.
was is he's the creepy kid stuff. We don't know the details of it because
Mhm.
like we're not supposed to. If
Yeah.
it's kids involved, we're not supposed to be able to find out the details. But
Mhm.
for some reason, a judge or somebody stepped in and said you should not be allowed to see your children. The tattoo thing is he has his kids' names tattooed on his arm in old pictures. Now that is covered up. So like to get a cover up of your kids' names, like that's
It's
a
pretty final, like
right. It's final and it feels like a an unreasonably spiteful move. This isn't
yeah.
like an I was getting rid of some things and I didn't realize like a photo album with a bunch of pictures of you as a baby was in it or whatever.
Mhm.
This is like I went and paid money for someone else to spend hours covering up
Mhm.
your names on my arm. As a dad, that grosses me out. I don't know what his thought process is.
And this is the thing. Once I found out, because funny enough, I found out like 5 minutes before we recorded the last episode, so I hadn't even processed everything. I'm not only mad at Sean, now I'm mad at Alysia and Tyler. That is
Yeah.
so irresponsible to bring innocent children who didn't ask for this. Like, Taya's an adult. If that's
Right.
who she wants to be the father of her child, still gross, but she's an adult. But
Hmm.
these children were forced to adjust to a situation which, by my eyes, is endangerment. If this
Yeah.
man is not allowed to see his own kids,
Yeah.
why is this okay? You
That's not
know?
just an your lifestyle is different because they had that attorney where she was like I basically grew up on like a commune where everyone
Yeah,
and that wasn't odd to me. I'm like, well, that's unusual, but it's not like you're a
yeah,
weirdo because of that. No, but specifically it's because someone said there's an issue with you and kids.
yeah.
And especially because right away we saw you be weird with a kid. You weren't like sexual with a kid or like abusive with a kid, but it was weird interaction. We were like, get back down in the basement, you're grounded. That's a weird thing to say to a kid. So
It
like,
really is.
yeah, something's up with him, and it really does seem like that's the driving force of what's going on here.
In the show. Oh, I mean,
Yeah,
good for TLC because I was about to
yeah,
say, I'm like, TLC usually turns a blind eye. They don't care.
hmm,
They'll let it run for seasons. But I think part two, the other half of it is at the core of it, Brian, this is a boring show.
yeah.
There's just,
It's got the premise of a really interesting show,
yeah.
and like the cast of something that would be on like a Tubi original or whatever. It's like you don't have like quality enough people to carry this premise off.
Yeah.
Like Sean would be like as a big villain if the other people in the family were like, well, fuck this guy, like, is he
Yeah.
again with this? We
Mhm.
almost got it for a second. I don't
Almost.
know if you noticed. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about all of the specifics.
Mhm.
But in that moment where he was having a fight with Taya, I think it's when I'm trying to think of what he was upset about. He was whatever. He was having a fight
Mhm.
with Taya. They show in the kitchen
When he was
as she's
mansplaining how
walking.
to breastfeed
Yes, there
this
it is.
man.
That's what it was. We was like, why don't you just try it? Why don't you just, you didn't even try. I'm just asking you to like try it. I know you say it's not going to work, whatever. Like, you don't know your body. Why don't you just give it a shot?
Yeah.
And she walks into the kitchen and Alysia like looks at her and then has like an eye roll the camera catches a little second of. And I'm like, I want more of that. I
Yeah.
want to see what Alysia says to Taya in this moment. If he's not going to walk back there, you walk back there. Instead of being like, you need to go fix this, he's not capable of that.
Yeah. But instead, they
Yeah.
have all this conflict avoidant people. So a good show it does not make, because honestly, even
No.
the 2 hour finale exhausted me. At some point I was like going in and out. I'm like, okay, are we done yet? So I'm glad it's
Yeah.
ended, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think at first episode 1 I thought it had potential to
Yep.
become like multiple seasons and never gonna get enough of this, but I'm okay with it being gone, thank you.
I mean, I remind you, a month ago there was talk of this is the new Sister Wives.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to that talk?
Not the heir apparent, so
You don't hear it anymore.
all right. So they're trying to lead us into something like Taya is missing a connection with a woman. And I think we've seen that in the previews. And I think that's part of it also, Brian. I think they put all their good stuff in the previews.
They
Nothing
did.
outside of the previews
Listen,
was great.
controversial hot take. It's the Nutty Professor. Watch the
Ooh.
trailer for the Nutty Professor. Watch it
Ooh.
again from back in the day, and it's like, oh no,
Ooh.
every good joke in the movie is in the trailer. And I remember saying that as like an 11-year-old. Like I came out of the theater, in like Genco's, like I feel cheated over what happened here. But no, I think you're right. They did put all the good stuff up front because I really thought we are going to get a whole season of conflict over the paternity of this kid. I really
Hmm.
thought like Alicia's dad not being supportive was going to be like a lot of episodes of that, and that's going to be conflict. We didn't really touch on a whole lot because Sean seems like some kind of a weirdo and kind of had to pull the plug. I bet there was more that could have gotten good. This is,
Yeah.
6 episodes of what could have been like 18.
Yeah.
By the end of 18, who knows what happens? Oh,
Maybe
never mind.
they realized as they were going on, they were like, listen, there's nothing else we can mine
We're not
out
about
of
this
this.
life.
All right. So the last thing we left off was Tyler and Taya went on a romantic getaway. And apparently, the only way they can connect is physically. And she's not in the mood to have sex. The with him is silent because we later
Boy.
find out she's okay having sex with Sean,
Yeah,
but they
right
don't know
away.
what to, they don't know what to do with each other. Again, I don't know if there was a time span, because from nowhere we find out that the men are getting vasectomies and we didn't even see the whole process. I feel like if they were doing that and if they were filming, they would have a whole today me and Tyler are going to the doctor's office to get snipped and then the healing, and
Mm-hmm.
we skipped all of that and just found out that they've even done the testing afterwards to make sure that Tyler's fine, and now
Yep.
Sean has to go drop a sample and I'm like, we're missing steps, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. A little bit of insight for the listeners. I've had one of these, and
Oh,
the sample is not something you give a couple of days later. Like you could. I mean, it's very not painful. Certainly,
okay.
I left mine feeling fine. My doctor was legit like, put some frozen peas on that. Like, relax in the chair for the weekend. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
It was totally fine. Very, very painless.
I mean, of course it is because you're a man, but if it was a woman procedure, oh my God. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I was. It took 5 minutes, and I was awake for it. Like
Thank you.
it was
Uh huh.
real quick. My doctor was like telling jokes during.
Uh huh.
It was a real situation.
Keep
But
bragging.
like, right? No, no, no. It's a travesty, right? It's one of the most horrible things about what's going on right now. That's for a different podcast. But when I came back to give my sample, I think it was like 6 weeks. I think they were like, yeah,
Ah,
don't do anything for
yeah,
6 weeks. Like, don't touch yourself or anyone else
yeah,
for 6 weeks,
yeah,
and then your first time needs to be your sample, and then you bring that in. Um, so there was a lot of time they skipped
yeah.
on this. There was like a lot of things they really glossed over with this
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that could have been good. I mean, you could make fun stuff out of that. They just, again,
yeah.
Sean. Cut everything short.
With Sean, there's always just put him around people and you get something.
Watch what happened.
And in the process of finding out about this vasectomies, we learned that Quentin was not planned.
Right, right.
This
And
wasn't mentioned the
makes
whole time.
sense. Yeah, I mean, well, it's hard to say because it seems like in the beginning it really felt like Taya and Tyler were having so much sex all the time,
Mhm. Mhm.
and like okay, of course she got pregnant. Now it's like oh maybe there's like I know that she had on like that ankle what cuff whatever you call that thing. You didn't see that?
Mm-mm.
She's got on like a collar around her ankle, like a steel, like a silver band, like a round band around her ankle. That
Yeah.
allegedly, I'm not in this community, but those who are in the swinger community basically say it's like a dom and sub relationship. Like it's a signifier that she is like somebody's specific sub. So it's either Sean or it's Tyler. And considering how much they talked about, their sex life, you would
Mhm.
and how Taya's a little bit more I guess out there. It sounds
Yeah.
like than Alysia, and that's become kind of a thing, and that's been
Yeah.
remarked about on the show. It seems kind of like that's what's going on here. And so if she got there and she's like, "Listen, man, like my body is still not right. I don't want to do like our weird shit," and
Yeah.
like that, she did say that's the only way they know how to connect with him.
Yeah.
I could see it like, well, that's the basis of your relationship, and you're alone for the first time, and you can't do the stuff you always do.
Mhm.
It, I'm not here to kink shame. Like that's got to be frustrating. Like it's got to be a
Yeah.
frustrating moment to be like, this is our thing and I can't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's again, I am not in this. I am as vanilla as it gets. I'm not even butter pecan. But from those who are in it, they do say, yeah, that's what she has on her ankle. A lot of people wear it around their neck. If you want to be more
Mhm.
discreet, you wear it like around your ankle so that you can like go out in public and not have people say, hey, you're wearing a collar at all times.
Wow.
Um, Again, Desus and Mero sprinkle allegedly all over this, but that is what people have been saying since like I think in the when he was shaving her legs in the premiere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
when they showed it and people were like, well, you're showing a close up on it. I can't not notice that one.
Wow. Insert rainbow, insert star, the more you know. I had no
Right?
idea.
Call LeVar Burton.
I had no idea about this. Okay, but in this scene, Brian, I feel like this is where I see that Sean loves him some Taya. This man smiled. This man was relaxed. He might have
Oh,
even cracked a joke or two.
he
And I'm
tried.
like, is that you, Sean? But I'm like, okay, he loves him some Taya.
Yeah,
They have a
he was
connection, actually.
yeah. No, he was lighthearted and he was having
Yeah.
a good time, and we've not seen
Mm-hmm.
that all season. Um Not surprising that it comes out when he's with Taya. I mean, listen, Alicia doesn't seem like she's like a fun partner for anybody. I think because she's miserable. Like I
Like
think
I
that she doesn't enjoy being in this quad. I think she probably didn't really want to start swinging in the first place, but she was like, "Oh, I had a threesome because it was like Tyler's fantasy." It
Mhm.
kind of feels like you keep on dragging me along, and now we're gonna bring in two more. It's just like
Yeah.
she just seems like a sad sack right now.
I mean, like I said, she's the one losing out in all ways in this relationship. She's the one not
Mm-hmm.
having sex. She's the one not talking to her parent. She's the one that's no one's number one. It's so sad.
Right?
And
Never.
she's
Yeah.
not getting anything out of this. She seems to be fighting for pick me, love me, choose me
Please
every
and
single
stop
time.
talking about her, please.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, no, I think it's important to remember that they met when they were in college. And I think she
yeah.
was like 18 or 19 or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, and so if this is like the one relationship she really knows, it has to feel a little bit like your Mary Brown watching Cody with Robin, where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like this is what it's like when you really for real like somebody. Like,
That
oh, you
yeah.
have no problem giving them all the affection in the world and like showering them with gifts and spending time with them. But for me, it's like a whole chore. And I
Yeah.
think that might have been the situation here where she had to see him with Taya. And it's like, oh, this is what it's like when you've got your kink met,
Person.
apparently. And like she's got a thing up, it's on her
Can't
ankle, there it is. And
can't
allegedly, 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 allegedly.
This is how she found somebody that matched his freak, and it's not me.
Yeah.
I know this is
No,
not happening with us.
no. It's
But
not me and I can't do it.
you have to know yourself From everything we know of this woman just through television, she is not equipped. She does not have the range. She is a basket case. She is crying every single time. I don't think I've
Yeah.
seen, okay, I've seen Taya cry, but I don't even know if it was real. But Alicia is crying every
Yeah.
single time. And I don't know why
Hmm.
she came into this. And I think she's in over her head
Hmm.
with this. And she tells us because she and Sean go on a date, and she tells us that she's been in her head comparing herself to Taya, and she and Sean's intimacy has been suffering, aka they're not having sex.
No.
So Sean shares that Taya texted Sean during the date because she was stressed and she was in the bathroom. I was like, did she go lock herself in the bathroom? And was like, this man is here expecting to have sex and I don't want to do it. And you know that kind of thing is going to make Sean feel good. Sean's going to be like, eh,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And she ran back home to me right away.
it makes it worse for Alysia because she's like, again? So, she's texting her, and I was with you. Like, why is no one talking to me? Is this a quad? For real, for real?
Right?
Or a trio?
No. Somehow you're the third wheel on a four-wheeled car. Like, I don't know how you pulled that off. And it's just sad because, like, I bet when they first met when they were in college, he was
Yeah.
like kind of hot for her, and it just
Mm-hmm.
seems like he's not. And
Yeah. It's
you feel for
unfortunate.
her. You know,
I
you want
do,
better
but
for her.
she put herself in this situation. And
She
honestly, we're
did.
still adults, and you can, what is it in wrestling? Tag me out, coach. Like, you
Right? No,
can
give
tag
me the hot
yourself.
tag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tag
Yeah.
yourself out.
That's true.
So, yeah, Sean does add that I think it's weird. They went painting and all that stuff, and they're just talking. And he's like, I think it's weird that you don't want to hear about the sex thing. And she's like, it's not weird. I just think it's a boundary that I put up, and still you just want to, talk about it. And Sean tells us that he just thinks it's weird to be in a polyamorous relationship and be weirded out by this, and that's why they're not close. That for him and Taya, they can talk about anything. They have open communication, and I mean, he's not wrong. What did you think would happen in a polyamorous relationship? Everyone's supposed to censor. What do you think happens when you switch bedrooms? Like, I just.
She's pregnant again. what? I mean, come on. I just kind of you're right. No, it's I understand where she's coming from, especially if
Mhm.
this was I met this guy when I was in college thinking I have a college boyfriend. Now all of a sudden he's got me into swinging and now we are married to other people and raising families together. I think that she's just like it's another thing. Like I'm it's too much and I'm ready
Yeah.
to be out. And now we're gonna put us on a TV show too. And like it's
Yeah.
one more thing. And I feel for her where it's I don't want to hear about you having sex. I don't want to hear about you kissing. I don't I get where she's coming from. It's
Yeah.
completely unrealistic.
Very,
It's
very,
not
very unrealistic.
it's not, it's just unrealistic. Like even being like good friends with people at times you hear things about their relationships and
Mhm.
stuff, good or bad.
Yeah.
So to think that you can be married to somebody living in the same house with them and never hear anything about them, especially because they had a whole sexual relationship before you met them to begin with,
Yeah.
it's unrealistic. I get why she wants it. She can't have it.
It is. And the thing about the whole relationship outside of the sex thing is just in a monogamous marriage or relationship, as the years go by, you change. And there are
Hmm.
things that you like and there are things you don't like, and you hope that you grow together. In this case, it feels like if you grow and there are things you don't like, you're still trapped.
Yeah, too
There's
bad.
no room for growth.
That really sucks. Like that's just it's no, they've kind of built a little insular cage on this, stretch of land in Oregon where you're just kind of stuck, man.
Yeah.
We're
Like,
gonna try to adopt the kids now. It's just
who,
everything is too intertwined.
who's going to be the Christine? I mean, my money's still on
Oh,
Taya, but
hmm.
who's
Yeah,
going
no,
to be the
because
person? Yeah.
no, Alicia is the Mary. I'll stay around and
Yeah.
do whatever to try to make
Mm-hmm.
this work.
Yeah. Because it's a
I
mess.
no, yeah, I could. God, maybe Tyler. I don't have a good answer for you.
I
I
don't
think it
know.
just goes on this way till they all die of old age.
I think the only other thing too is allegedly, I think Aid mentioned that Sean can't work.
Okay, didn't know that.
I
saw that he
think.
wasn't working. Because I remember in the
Yes.
beginning when they had the whole "you're grounded" thing, it was like, oh, Tyler just got home from work, and like
Yes.
I've been dealing with this all day, kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Is it
So
can't work like physically, or is it can't work like I'm not allowed to work?
I think it's an allowed to. I don't know why
Oh
physically he
no,
can't. He should be able to if he's taking
I
care of
was gonna say he
babies.
seems fine.
Because at first I'm just like, I mean, he maybe he's not allowed to work in the school district or schools, and I know he met Taya at work, so I don't know what could have happened.
Yeah,
If that's true, I don't know. Again, there's too many stories that we don't know, but there's so many
yeah,
untold stories that make this show not authentic. It's just gonna be another Sister Wives where we found out all the real truth, but at least in between they gave us stuff to work with. But here
yes,
we're smarter now, and we know that there are holes that are not being filled. Okay, that
yeah.
sounded dirty, but
No, but I mean, well, it's this show, so it's fine. I mean, what I'll say is, at least with Sister Wives, if you go back and watch, because I didn't watch in the beginning, I started watching during the
hmm
pandemic, and I had
hmm
a son who was a year old, and it was just background for me.
hmm
The first 7, 8 seasons, nothing happens.
nothing's
Nothing
still
happens. It takes
happening
a
now, Brian.
long, but something happened once.
Okay, yeah.
There was a couple things. The catfishing was a thing that
hmm
was, and I think that was like season 9 or something. Like
Yeah.
it took a long time to get to that.
Yes.
So boy, it's a big investment, and I would not do that with this show. I think we're too
No.
old for that now.
Yeah.
Like I'll put in 8 seasons before a show gets good.
Yeah.
Um, but no,
That's
they just
true.
didn't. It wasn't efficient.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, so they're still on their date and Sean is still pushing this thing. And the producer, they're sitting having their confessional. And I love how whenever they do their confessionals, they have to hold hands or put their hands on their laps or their
On that
thighs.
too small couch, we're
That's
all
an
touching,
uncomfortable couch. So the
right?
producer says, how often do you have sex? And we never quite get an answer. But Sean just looks deadpans and is like, oh, well, I mean, the thing is, Alicia is more vanilla than I am. And then she's like, oh my God, like, I don't want to be called vanilla. Like, I am in a polyamorous relationship. And before that, I was swinging. And Sean, being the cruel guy that he is, says, I mean, well, you could do all that and still be vanilla in bed. I gasped,
Yep,
Brian. I
yep.
gasped. I actually
I'm like,
gasped.
look, man. I've already said that I am vanilla, which is true. Okay, I, all of the things you just listed off, I've never done any of those things. Like that's just not, you know. So like, no, she. I think she looks at it and is like, look, you don't have to have 8,500 different positions and
hmm
tools and whatnot in there, but like, come on, man. Like, is it that bad? It's that bad? Like, it's bad though. Like, you hate doing it.
I've said this before. I forget what couple on maths did it or said it. Maybe it was Vanilla. Maybe it was Nicole or somebody. And I was like, vanilla sex matters too. Like, there's nothing
Oh,
wrong with it. But she takes it
oh,
offensively. And if your what is she girlfriend? If your girlfriend is like, "Hey, don't do that. Don't keep going, Sean," and keep saying,
right,
"Yeah, no, you're wrong. You're still vanilla in bed." To the
right.
national television, that you're, ooh, that's close.
Understand that you stepped in it, man, and go, oh shit, I didn't realize. Okay, so what I said was wrong, and let me fix that now in the
Okay,
moment, like immediately. No, he's just like, no, fuck. Listen, I said, you're lame in the
yeah,
sack. Like I don't know how to make. You're bad to have sex with. Like I fake it
yeah.
half the time. What do you want me to tell you? Like it is. He's aggressive, and it's just so deadpan. It's flat.
I'll say this though: this finale is the first time it occurred to me that perhaps Sean processes things differently. He's more concerned about being right and quote unquote honest than
Hmm.
reading the room and being emotionally intelligent. I mean, he
Yeah,
shows signs that he can do it because she gets upset. She gets up, she walks away, and Sean is just like, what did I do?
that was weird,
What he was staring like,
right?
did I say something? Like, couldn't be me. I'm saying the
Right.
truth. So
Should I
that
stay for
was
my interview or like what? He doesn't care. I would be like scrambling and like breathing hard if that was me. He does not care.
No, he doesn't. I mean, but when by the time she comes back because she's crying and all that stuff, he does. I don't know. Is this? Yeah, this was the part where she was crying and walked away, right? Or was it later?
Yes. No, no, this was when she was crying and she walked away.
Walked
And then
away.
Taya
Okay.
was like, go fix it. And his fixing was walking to me like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, get it together. What are you crying for? I'm just like, that is not fixing this, man. You need to walk in and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Like, you have to make a big show of things.
Because there was one when she walked away and he came back, but when she sat down, he does actually put his arm around her, say "I love you," and then he kissed her on the head. And I was like, okay, you are capable. You're just a
I
dick.
will tell you, when we see him the most capable is him with the kids, except for that one scene where he's talking about grounded. He is like with like a baby with a little kids. He is sprightly and excited, and I'm like, that is an energy level that you need to summon for your wife every once in a while. But he
Yeah.
is like a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
Yeah, they called him the baby whisperer. They were like, he's the only one that can put the babies down, and they were a
I
little
believe it. The little
mad
bit that
about
I've
that.
seen, like, yeah, he's good at it
Well, he's very militant about
with the
everything.
adults.
And
With
the
the adults, and when the kids are in trouble, I for some reason he whatever works because I mean he's big and like cuddly. I
yeah.
guess if you're a baby, so like that would probably also be nice. He seems like he might run hot, so like
I
maybe he's
mean,
warm.
can we go back? Because remember, he threw it out there. He was like, it's my girth. And everyone's
Oh,
like,
that's right.
what?
Oof. Just say I'm big, which is also could be, but like it's better than my girth.
Just, I'm cuddly. I'm like a big teddy bear. Let's not go girth.
No,
Okay, got
don't
it.
don't talk about your girth certificate. Like that's not what we're talking about, and I
I've
don't know why
forgotten
you went
about
to that.
that.
Yeah.
So, Taylor and Tyler, no, Alicia and Tyler are going out on a date, and they tell us, no, Tyler trying to tell us that they have a connection to the big kids, not because they're their biological kids. And I'm like, it is exactly why you have a
Yeah, no, that's
connection,
why.
because they're your biological kids and you live together as a family for 4 years. Like,
Yeah.
that's why.
It's because you were there for the full pregnancy and then lived together for years after they were babies. Like that's why you have a connection,
You were their only parents for like
right?
a number of years. So, yeah, it's why.
Yeah.
So,
Ah,
this is where we learn that Alicia's mom died when she was 18. Alicia's mom was a
yeah.
hippie. Her mom would have been great. And my husband was like, oh, this is why she got this man doesn't watch the show. This is all I'm passing by and I'm walking by. And he's
Mhm.
like, this is where she got the idea. Like, I need to try out in honor of my mom and just be a hippie. And that's how the whole swinging and
Oh,
everything started subconsciously. And I'm like, I
oh.
don't know if there's
I don't
science to
think
that, but
things just got talked into it by her kind of like a
by Tyler
kind-looking boyfriend. Yeah,
smiling at her and saying,
exactly.
let's just try it just once. It'll be fine. I promise.
Just give it a shot.
So,
What bad could it do?
well, how many years later?
Right.
So she's worried that if something happens to her and Tyler, her dad could petition to get the biological kids. I took a pause and I'm like, is this a storyline? Because we're Tyler's parents. Why just her dad?
There are so many problems. Why just her dad, who's not at all involved in her life?
Hmm.
I believe she has at least one sibling, right? I don't think she's an only child.
I
So,
don't
like,
even remember.
I thought she had a sister or something, but there's somebody else that could be involved. Also, there's a thing called a will, and you can just write into the will, hey, in case I die, like, here's what I would like to happen with my children. And yeah, I guess the dad might say, oh, the court should rule this invalid for some reason and give me the
Hmm.
children that I don't know. It feels storyline to me.
Yeah, it was feeling storyline because if her dad has this much rights, then Tyler's parents too have the same
Exactly.
rights. So they could just go fight it out, I guess,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that. And like you said, just what is it called? An estate. When you have a kid, you
Yeah.
just write it down
Yeah.
and
You just write it down.
say who you want.
Right?
So so another reason why the kids are suffering from this are that they were close to their grandpa apparently, and now they don't have a relationship because he is not accepting of Sean and Taya,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not in their life anymore. And they sit down to have a conversation because she's like she's going to try to see if she can still have a relationship. This is when the whole mansplaining is, when Sean tries to tell Taya how to feed her baby
Mm-hmm.
with her own
Mm-hmm.
boob. So
Mm.
he was snapping at her. I know he snapped at her because she asked, are you ready for the sample? Like, have you read what you're supposed to read? And he's like, I have no idea. What are you asking? I don't understand your question. And I think she overreacted. I know that Alysia is emotional, But I do feel like she overreacted a little bit because she started crying and then she goes to Tyler and she's like, when they fight, it affects me and it's thus, he doesn't have to be a dick to me and all that. And maybe this wasn't the thing she was mad about, but in this moment, I think she was overreacting.
I would say in this moment I could see overreacting. In this
Okay.
moment I could see that this this little back and forth where like there's nothing to read. Again, they it's I don't need instructions. It's put it in this cup and bring it to the lab. There's not a lot of instruction that needs to happen with it. But like I could see her being irritated by this little back and forth and that being it in a vacuum. I
Yeah.
think if this has been going on for weeks and like this is their normal interaction and we're just seeing yet another example of how they always talk to each other or like how it's been for the last couple of days at least, I could see her being like, man, I'm exhausted with this. And I'm just trying to have a conversation with you to get like factual information. And I can do this
Yeah.
now. So I could see it being like a I'm just fed up with a lot of things that didn't make the cut kind of situation.
So this stood out to me because later on in the episode, Taya asked him the exact same thing. Have you read the documents? And he's like, oh yeah, what have I read? And I'm like, what? Not the
If he likes
same.
her.
There, yeah, he likes her. She gave him some in the morning, but
Yeah.
maybe she does have a right to be mad because she knows, like, her intuition is not staring her wrong. So it's just poor baby. I just feel so bad
Yeah.
for her.
No, she's the world's saddest sack right now. Like she just
Hmm.
I feel bad for her because it feels like her heart's not in it and everyone else's really is. It
Yeah.
just sucks.
Yeah. So they're meeting another lawyer because the first lawyer was like, unless you guys want to set a precedent, like this is just rubbish. You're not gonna get
Right.
anything out of this. So they meet another lawyer. This lawyer looks like not looks, seems like a hippie. She's
Hmm.
all, my name is, I can't remember what her name was. And I'm like, and
It
she's
was
all
something
la di
silly.
da. Yeah, la di da di da. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So she tells us that she's passionate about non-traditional cases, so she likes cases like this, and she does give them some hope that, you could just have you could add a parent. I don't know if it was one or two that you could add in there, but they were
I
all
don't know.
excited. They were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
yay, it's better than what we were told the first time." So,
The problem with this family is lack of research abilities. And we'll talk about a second example of this later on, I know. But like it seems like you could look this up. This is a
yeah.
knowable thing about the law. She wasn't like, "Oh, I've done deep research and an 1839 case said." No, it was like the law says we can just do this. So it seems you can Google that and figure out in Oregon what is the law
Yeah.
vis-a-vis third parent adoption.
And I'm sure like there has to be like a Facebook group and somebody that must have
Oh my,
said
so
like,
many of them.
"Come on." But,
There's
we had
probably
to get a
one like for
TV.
each neighborhood.
Hold on
Come on.
there. We do have a confessional that was a little unexpected for me. Tyler tells Sean, like, listen, contrary to what you believe, I do care about you and I want you to have rights. This is a part that I think would be a huge adjustment for me. Like, okay, the quad, okay, maybe, but this really is it relinquishing or sharing rights as a parent when you've had it for so long?
Hmm.
That's
I
tough.
couldn't do it. I couldn't. I don't want to do it. I couldn't do it. I
Ah.
think. Listen, Amber from Teen Mom is among the world's worst. I understand why this hurts her.
Mhm.
Like, I couldn't do it,
Yeah.
and I would have a hard time, especially if I'm Alicia right now. I have a hard time where like I'm not even really down for this, and you're putting me into it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But she's the most understanding about it. But
she is.
she brings up her dad with the quad and they start
Hmm.
talking about it. The last episode, I think I said, I understand where they're coming from, where they want to be recognized and respected. But I'm like, give her a bone. This is the one thing that she's asking for. And it's not really like her crime, it's her dad's crime because he said that, they're not welcome. Sean said that he just randomly texted and was like, "They're not welcome into my house." Taya mentions how he sent like Christmas cards and signed
That
with
was
Papa
cold.
to the older kids, and then just put his name.
His name. That is cold. Like that's not. Yes, that's a dick thing to do. And I understand where they're like, I don't want this asshole around the kids. But it is her dad, and he's old, and like her last surviving parent, and they used to be close. I think the interesting relationship here is Tyler with her dad. Because like I'm
Yeah.
close with my father-in-law,
Mhm.
and we've been married for almost 8 years.
Mhm.
Like if we decided, hey, by the way, now we're gonna bring other people in, I'd be like, well, damn, I miss Larry. Like he was cool. We used to chat it up all the time. Now he's
Yeah.
gone because of this. So I understand her wanting him back. Um, and I get why they're just like, I don't want him. What he said, what he's done. Like I don't want him around the kids.
Yeah. I mean, I think when she said he's my last living parent and I want to have a relationship with that. And Sean is like, yeah, it doesn't matter that he's your dad. And then she's like, what?
Yeah,
And she's crying as usual. Then he
it doesn't matter at all,
clarifies,
actually.
and it's not any better. He's like, let me clarify. It doesn't matter that he's your dad. I'm just saying he's not above the rules because he's your dad. Like, what is the difference?
What he said was, I'm just saying we wouldn't even have this conversation. We know those anybody that wasn't your dad. To
Yeah.
which I would have said, yeah, but he's my dad. So like we're having this conversation because he's my dad.
So here's my question for you because I was going back and forth about it. That was cold. That was insensitive. But when you decide to form a quad, must everybody be part of that relationship? They are forcing this older man who doesn't have the capacity right now. Like he's probably closer to his grave and is like, you're not gonna tell me how to live my life. Like I'm not open to whatever you young kids are doing. I'm just speaking like, from his
Mm-hmm.
perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, these are my I've had my grandchildren for 4 years. Now you want me to, have more and say that they're equal, not even like step. I'm not shouldn't be like, but the step parenthood, but nothing. But you're
Right?
telling me like now I have to accept these new kids that I don't know from Adam. So that is a
Right?
choice the quad made. Is this fair what they're asking or not? Like, or it's just complicated. Like this show gives me a headache. I don't know how they do this.
Yeah. I mean, fairness is an interesting question that we'll touch on also later. Um, I think that it is not fair what they're asking, but it's all that they could ask. Because like, if we're
Mm,
really raising these kids to be siblings, and we're
yeah.
trying to do this thing where we are all one family.
Yeah.
Like, if it was my stepkids, you wouldn't be like, oh, I am grandpa to these kids, and just like,
Yeah.
you know, Cliff to these
Yeah.
other
That's
kids.
true.
Like you
That's
would,
true. Yeah.
yeah. So that part does bother me, but I don't think they're going to get it. It's all they could ask for, though. They can't be like, yeah, he's gonna like treat our kids like shit, but of course he can come over to the house. Like they have to ask for this. They're not going to get what they're asking for.
Is it a fair compromise that you can have a relationship with your dad but not with the kids? But is that enough for her?
I think that right now that would be enough for her. Where it's like I'm always traveling to go see him. If I could just do that, that's probably better than nothing. And I
Yeah.
think that she would think if I do this and I'm with him one on one and have enough conversations, eventually he will come around to it. Is probably what she's thinking.
Yeah, because I think you do have a good point. If you're bringing them as siblings, you shouldn't treat them separately. Everyone has the same grandpa, grand, and all that kind of stuff. So just not expecting too much. But for her personal relationship, I just wonder if that's enough of for her where her dad is not accepting all of her, and if just a piece is just enough. Because I
No.
think Sean is trying to logicalize it because this man doesn't have an emotional range. And he's just like, I think it's harder for you because your mom passed and he's getting up there in age. And I'm like, oh my God.
So here's the problem. Your dad's old as shit and about to die, and that's
Oy,
why you're
oy,
emotional.
oy.
It doesn't matter that he's your dad, though. Just, oh my goodness.
And
Just swing it away.
she walks out again because it's too
Oh,
much. Oh, it's a
it was
lot.
tragic. It was tragic. It was a rough scene. I felt real bad for her, and I'm like, what sick situation had to arise for Taya to like fall for you back in the day? How did this happen? This man has no charm. No
That is
charm at
probably
all.
what she likes. Taya looks like the kind of person that likes that control, take charge. And there's like a huge age gap, right? So we can allegedly
Yeah.
sprinkle some
Yeah.
daddy issues in there too. So like just
Yeah.
wanting that daddy figure type thing. And he
Age gap, and
actually
he's the boss too.
and he actually likes her, so he's not as
Hmm.
mean to her. We haven't even seen like any mean moment, honestly.
Mm-mm.
But
We
we've seen
haven't
so
seen anybody
many
fight.
with Alysia. With Alysia, poor baby.
Yeah,
I
like,
can't.
you know, with her. It's not even mean. It's just neglect. It's just like I don't think about you at all. I'm not concerned with how you feel.
Oh, you,
Like it's
you're
not. It's
still
like I'm
here?
mad at you, but oof, who told you where I live?
All right. So, they settled for her calling him, laying all her cards out there, but I think she knows what the result is going to be.
Hmm.
They suddenly Taya is going to the bathroom, and then she's knocking on the door, and she's like, "This man would poop with the door open. Why is the door locked?" And he's like, "He's getting a sample." And Taya's like, "Oh, it'll probably be faster if I come in." And I'm like, "Oh." And then she goes in, and then they do what they need to do. And that's when she comes out and says, "Oh, did you read over your paperwork?" And
Hmm.
also, Tyler said, "Did everything come out okay?"
Yeah, would you go? I mean, damn phrasing.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Once again, all three are bonding, and Alicia is not there. Okay.
Hmm.
So he specifically mentions, like, I'm supposed to have 0 days of abstinence or something like that. I'm supposed to have some days of abstinence in front of Tyler, but I think Tyler doesn't care. Either that or they cut it out. But I
Tyler
think
cares.
they showed it to us on purpose to show that, he just says things, wherever, because later he's going to say it in front of Alicia. So the producer
Hmm.
asked, because it was Sean and Taya, "Did you break the rules since you had sex in the morning?" And they're like, "No, the rules are once you get out of bed, like once you switch out, then the time starts." And I'm like, "What if you get out of bed at noon?"
No, listen, it's Royal Rumble rules. Once I get out of the bed and both feet touch the floor, then the day starts. If I one foot and hop around, it's different. It's just no, come on, man. The spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. Obviously, having sex at like 9 a.m. on her day does violate the rules.
Oh gosh. These rules that they make as they just make it as they go along.
They just don't follow them. They make them and then they just ignore them. There's a rule about talking about sex with Alicia, and they just don't follow it.
They don't care. Oh, that's how much they respect her. So
Mm-mm.
we get introduced to Lexi. Lexi is Taya's friend. Apparently, they FaceTime all day, every day. They have babies at the same time. And the producer asked her, "Do you have feelings?" There was not a definite no. There was, "She lives 12 hours away. I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited when she's on the phone. Our quad is not open. Ma'am, yes or no?"
I think by not saying no, we all understand it's
We got
yes.
the answer. So they come back. Alicia was like, "Oh, did you guys have fun dropping the sample?" And Sean was like, "Yeah, it was okay. I had to go ask her, like, if it's okay that I had sex this morning." Again, Alicia walks away. This is the third
What are you doing? This would there's no follow up words from her at all. She just stands up,
time.
walks out,
Walks away.
and it's immediate
Boundaries.
right
And
away.
Taya's like, "Why would you do that?" He's like, "I know, I know, I know. Do you, Sean?" I don't think
Ah,
he's sorry.
shucks.
He's not sorry. He's like, "I know I shouldn't have,"
No.
because I think he's trying to make a point. He's trying to make a point like, "You are being ridiculous. I'm going to
Hmm.
say this how many times and see how ridiculous you're being." And I think, like
Hmm.
we said, he just wants to be right and he doesn't care, even if he's
Yeah,
hurting someone.
and I think you do that during what Cody and Robin would call like the courtship phase. You
Mm
don't do that multiple years into
hmm. Mm
this
hmm.
quad where it's like, well, now all of us want to talk about sex in front of you all the time.
Yeah.
Like you can't pull that out on 4 years down the road or whatever.
Yeah, and he got so mad when Tyler shared that information and was like, "Oh, he was being so careless and everything." You're being careless right
Hmm.
now with her feelings. And speaking of the baby, Taya's meeting up with her mom, who still always looks so young every time
She's
I
my
see
age.
her.
That's wild.
And we find out that her mom is a nurse who they just didn't think to ask, she said. And she's like, "Yeah, you have if, this blood thing always, my brain glitches every time they start talking about the
Ugh.
blood type. But I
Mm.
think you can have a blood type 0 baby, even if you have a blood type B. I don't know,
Yeah,
whatever it
you can
is,
have a type O baby from anything.
from anything.
Apparently, listen,
Yeah.
it's been 25 years since I did a Punnett square, but I remember doing a big A and a little A and a B, and I know how this is supposed to work. And then I saw somebody said it's like a 6% chance, but like
Mm.
it's a chance. It's not not a 0%. It's a sure thing. Like whatever Sean made up. Like I don't know what that was about. Wild.
He was just so mad. And she's like, "Oh, I have to tell the quad." Like she just figured that out in minutes. So then
Mm-hmm.
their friends come by, Lex and Chris, and they say that they're more. Taya says that they're more. They have a more than friends connection that has never been explored.
Mm-hmm.
All I know about Lex called Chris daddy, and I was just like,
Yeah. Yup.
ugh.
Didn't like that. Didn't like that.
Um, she tells us that they had two long-term polytriad, oh god, relationships, meaning they're dating the same people, and it ended because they were more into him than her.
Both of them. Back to back. It's tough.
And now, because that was not enough, they want to date outside of each other, and she's nervous. Learn from Alicia. If you're nervous, don't do it.
Yeah. Don't
But
do it.
Altair is
Look at
here.
her. Look how sad she is. Is that what you
Oh
want?
my gosh. That is what she wants. Anyways,
Ah.
Taya just hears, this is my chance. They're about to do this. So they go for ice cream, the quad, and then Taya shares. And I like how she said, my mom helped me do some research. Mama just Googled.
She
She just
Googled it.
went
It
on
took me.
Google.
You said it took her less than 1 minute to figure it out. My mom did research. Like she's in a fucking lab.
Sean is such a dick that in the confessional, he was like, yeah, I trust Taya, but I know she's full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he actually
Mm-hmm.
Googled it. And then he's like, oh, it says it right here. And Alicia is like, yeah, it's the first thing that pops up. What did you search? I was like, don't do
Right?
it.
Well, the first is like, hey, where did you search? Where did you look up? I'm like, Sean, you can't. They have it right now. Look how confident she is. You
Yeah.
can't like trip her up with this one.
Yeah. And if we needed more proof that these people are lying to each other, when they found that out, Tyler seems so sad. He couldn't
Mm-hmm.
even hide the fact that maybe that child isn't his. But
Mm-hmm.
why do they both care who the biological father is if it truly doesn't matter? You know?
I think it's a biological thing to care. Like, I think it can be really hard to not care. Like I I can't imagine not caring. Where it's like I don't know why this matters, but like it fucking matters. Like this is important. I don't know why, but like this matters. And it'd be hard to just be like, yeah, it's me or some other dude. I don't know. We could figure it out. We're not gonna.
Can you explain to me what their reasoning is? Maybe it'll make sense when you explain it to me why they don't want
Oh,
to
brother.
know. Because again, if they keep saying it doesn't matter who the biological anybody is, it's still our child. Why are we keeping this a secret?
I think part of it was probably like a fun idea they had, where it's like, well, this would be
Fun.
fun if we do this. Like, what if we pull this thing now? I think the other part of it is there might be some things that we don't see off camera or in the past when, they kind of first came together, where we had parents not treating the kids equally based on whether they're biological or not. And that might have been like a challenge they had to really work hard to overcome in the early
Mm,
years, where now it's okay, we finally got there. Now with these kids, we can't find out who it is because we don't want to have to re-deal with all of that. Otherwise, I don't know. It
yeah.
just seems like a fun, silly thing they think is cute.
Well, in the confessional, Tyler says, well, I have sex with Taya. The baby looks like me. So there's still a chance. And I'm like, to do what? You're not on the birth certificate. So
No, no,
I'm
none
not
of
sure
this
what
is
the
supposed to
flex is.
matter.
Yeah.
Right.
So Elisa brings up, well, maybe if you had talked to me, I might have stopped you and we could have done like a little bit more research before we sent out what we sent out. But I wish she straight up said, listen, you hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
So she says it that, yeah, I know I should say it, but I need to bring it up to him, but I'm terrified. Like, okay.
She's not good at advocating for herself. And I
No.
think that's even worse with Sean. It's
Yes.
really unfortunate. Yeah.
Yeah. So she does bring it up with him. They have a conversation. She tells him that sometimes his level of honesty is not what she needs. And Sean says, well, what do you want?
This man is just, oh my goodness. Imagine being like, oh my God, I thought it's what there's things you're supposed to say. There's things you're supposed to respond to instead of being like, what do you want? I don't
That's so funny.
know.
So she was like, she brings up the whole texting with Taya thing. And she said, not he said that naturally he defaults to Taya, that that's his wife and it's pretty much muscle memory. And he doesn't fully open up to her because he doesn't want to hurt her feelings because he doesn't know he's probably going to say the wrong thing.
Hmm.
Understood, but I don't you got to work harder at that. It's almost like, and this is the problem with the quad. Yes, you have your wife, but you have a default. So it's almost like the things that your girlfriend is not giving you, you can rely on your wife to do. So then you feel, I don't have to work at it because I'll just go to Taya.
Hmm.
But then how then do you grow with that?
I don't think growth is really part of the plan here. I think I don't. I feel it feels like so much of this was not thought through. And I know that when we watched the pilot, it
Yeah.
was my understanding of poly relationships are you have to have so many rules and really follow them and really stick by them, and everything has to be like meticulously planned out and all of that.
Mhm.
And it feels like the one time they did that was our where do the guys sleep each night schedule. Like that's a thing. Everything else feels like it's kind of drawn on the back of a napkin, and well, now here's a rule that we're probably not going to follow that well. Like they don't seem like they're taking this seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he suggests that they should redo their date, and she's like, "We didn't fully, resolve it, but it's a start." My question for you is, were you able to figure out how many kids Lex had? I just feel like one just kept popping up every time I looked.
I don't know. A couple, a few, like some of
I
them.
tried to count, and I was like, "There's another one. Oh, there's another one over there." So,
No, just change his shirt. Is that the same kid?
okay, so they go to an indoor playground, and Lexi and Taya go off on their own. And honestly, hitting on someone with a baby strapped to you is that's next level.
It's
That's
wild.
next level. And also,
I can't imagine.
are you supposed to hit on someone while you're in a relationship? I'm talking about Taya here. You're in a quad. What are we doing?
No,
Like, even if you're
no.
like, this is so confusing to me.
This I would not consider this cheating, but I could see where this feels very close to the what Mary Brown wanted situation, where it's like this is a long distance relationship. Oh my god, they're actually here, and now I'm with them, and like we sexted every day. How am I not going to be like flirty with them now? Is kind of how this feels.
Okay, Brian, it's not cheating. I'm not trying to
It's
see
not
my
cheating,
husband skip to the loo
right?
with another woman in
No,
front of me
it's not
or
cheating.
not in
It's
front of me.
awful. It's
Yes.
awful. You should not do this. This is not acceptable. But I don't think it's cheating. It's right before you cheat.
Pre-cheat.
It's yeah, it's the beginning of Mr. Brightside, where it's like before the cheating happens, before the chorus hits. You know that
All
part?
right. But Tyler's even seemed to encourage. Tyler's like, go have one on one. I'm like, Tyler, you're
Hmm.
gonna be the one with the prop. Oh, these people.
Yeah.
They're
He's
winging
trying to
it
be
and
cool
it's
about
not
it.
working. Yeah.
He's gonna
And
cry in the
it's
car
not
later on,
working.
but he's trying to be cool about it.
Yeah. So what happens? Okay. So Alicia calls her dad. He declines to be filmed. Not surprising. As expected,
Hmm.
her dad didn't take it well, and I don't know where they go from here. But I hope they get to have some kind of relationship because Sean is not wrong. Like, if he is getting older, if something
Hmm.
happens, I hope she's in a good place because she's a very emotional person. That's going to be something she's going to have to carry for the rest of
Hmm.
her life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's you don't want something to happen where you didn't get to say goodbye the way that you wanted to, or you end
Yeah.
on a bad note, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
end on a bad note and then like 2 years goes by.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like I had all this time where I could have tried to fix this and try it again, and maybe it doesn't work out, but you try. And I think that
Yeah.
she's at the point where she's like, I'm running out of time to try pretty soon here.
Yeah. So Lex and Taya are out on their feelings out there, and Lex confesses feelings for her, and Taya feels good because it's reciprocated. It just seemed very open ended because again, they don't live in they're like 12 hours away, guys. This is
Yeah.
not realistic. This is
No,
not
and neither one of them is
feasible.
moving.
It's clearly a storyline, and we're supposed to just play along with it. And I'm sick of reality shows that do that because we're
Yeah.
smarter now.
Yeah. The only way this would not be storyline is if she brought this up and they were like, "Yeah, we are all on board with this. This is fine with us." And then she's like, "Let me call her real quick because she's leaving town like tomorrow. So let
Mm-hmm.
me go and kind of hook up with her like right now situation." Like that's the only way this makes any sense because this can't be like whatever you guys are doing now obviously doesn't bother the rest of the quad.
Yeah,
Whatever emotional fulfillment you get from talking to her on FaceTime every day and, whatever you guys talk about, that's fine with them. So if you want to step that up and she lives across the country
yeah.
and you want to step it up the day that she happens to be here, it kind of feels like you had a plan for like, I'm just joking in case unless you say it's okay. It's kind of how that felt to me,
I'm just checking the temperature.
right?
So Alicia and Sean are going out on their date, and Alicia reached out to an intimacy specialist, and Sean says, "This is so comical."
Mm, mm, mm.
And all I could
Yeah,
think about was they're in Portland. I think Married at First Sight has a season in Seattle. Is this who we're gonna
mhm.
get? But this is Lebanon, Portland, so I doubt it. But after
Yeah,
what we got
no.
last season, you can
I
never
hope
say
they learned a
never.
lesson. I hope they learned a lesson and like, okay, you know what? Can we just get regular professionals instead of a cartoon character?
Yeah. Alicia is going through it because apparently she can't talk about sex. She says, I can't imagine telling this stranger about everything about my intimate life. And I'm like, why did you schedule this for your date
Right?
if
Don't
you
do
can't
this.
talk?
Right.
And I just, you can't, this is not looking good for
No.
Alicia. I can't
Go
say
play mini
this enough.
golf. How about that? Axe throwing is a thing that seems like a Portland activity to me. Like, why'd you do this as your date if you're uncomfortable saying whether you like it when he grabs your butt or not, like when all your clothes are on? I don't know how you're going to get to the intimacy part of this intimacy specialist.
This like I mean, Sean might have been right. Like she's not vanilla. This is Vanilla Bean. All he said
Mm-hmm.
was, "What do you like when
Mm-hmm.
what did he does?" She's like, "Oh my god." I was like, "You can't say that. Do you like that he grabs your butt?" I don't know, but that's for me.
I don't
Oh,
know.
we got a
It's like,
problem.
oh my god, like that is that
We got a
I.
problem.
Especially if my other wife was like a full on freak, I'd be like, gosh, come
Yes.
on, man, won't you get it together? Like at least be
Yes.
normal, at least be in the middle.
And the general marriage dating rule is no butt should be left untouched.
Yeah,
Walks by, you
grab some
smack
butt,
it. Yes.
get some butt.
So that's the basic thing. So if you can't even say that or acknowledge that, you got problems, Missy.
If I didn't hit my wife on the butt after we kissed every time, she'd be like, "Are we fighting? Are you moving out? Like
You mad
what?
at me?
This has been a thing since what 2013. Like what's going on
Yes.
all of a sudden?" So no, it'd be a
Yeah.
problem.
I think a question I do have is since they rotate and they're new parents sometimes and all that, has anyone said somebody else's name in bed? That was not mentioned,
Oh,
but the probability after being together 4 years, switch out every night, has anyone said that on accident? Hopefully,
I
not Taya with Alicia because she can't survive. But
No, no. I don't I it's hard okay. It's hard for me to imagine that it didn't happen.
yeah,
It's equally hard for me to imagine that it happened and the show didn't touch on it. Cuz like if
too
that
much.
happened, like oh
Too
my god.
much.
Because if Alicia's there and I was like, "Oh," I said he
Yeah.
yelled out Taya and I was like, "Oh god. Oh no. What's
And
happening, Tyler?"
and that's the funny part is that that is the most likely circumstance is someone yelling Taya's name out.
I mean, the safest way to do this is like don't say names when you're in
Don't say
there. Say
names.
other stuff. Talk
I
about
mean,
don't say
maybe
names.
sometimes maybe it's too good and you don't even know what's coming out of your mouth. So,
I don't think Sean's doing that.
anyways, so where was I? So Taya shares her conversation with Lex, and all of them look at her dumbfounded and I was like, okay, so what does that mean? And
Right?
Sean is like, I mean, I'm okay with it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Of course you are. You love you some Taya. And you just want her
Hmm.
to be happy. So that's it. Alicia is actually understanding. She says she's the only one who's not getting anything fulfilled in this relationship because she's a pansexual. Tyler's like,
Yeah.
huh? So what? Because she's pansexual, she gets to be with someone out of there. Get out of here. I just want clarity on what this means for the quad. Like, if I'm expected, if I meet someone, I'm gonna shut it down. So if she's not gonna shut it down, what are we doing here? Now where it got murky for me, he started using the word unethical. I'm like, are we talking about diamonds here?
Okay.
What is unethical?
Okay. I think I've got some insight here, and it's
Okay.
okay. So I've heard the term ethical non-monogamy like bandied about with this with polyamory as like another sort of title for it, maybe, or like
Okay.
a larger umbrella that includes like swinging and like other kinds of non-monogamy where like we're honest about it and we have an agreement, we're okay with it, sort of a situation. So I think if they sort of consider what they do ethical non-monogamy, he's like, I think this is unethical. That would probably ring
Okay.
a chord with them where it's like, well, okay, what we're supposed to be doing here is supposed to have like an ethical basis to it. He doesn't feel this has that. That's a problem for us. I
Okay.
think that's what's going on here. He also kept on saying, like, I also think it's fair. This isn't fair. And
Yeah.
like by the letter of the law, he's right. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Like it's not fair that Taya, because what he said sort of made sense. Where he was like,
Yeah.
I don't even put myself in a position where I can begin to develop the kind of feelings for somebody that I have an attraction to that
Yeah.
would lead me to this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're doing that, if we're opening up that door to maybe I meet someone who's just so incredible, like Lex, that like I have to bring them in. Okay, I want to be open to do that too. What do you mean I can't? Like that,
Yeah.
I get why he says that's unfair. Um, it's not what you say, and it's not how you act, and like you don't, you just understand that it's going to be unfair.
Well, I mean, I think the argument why I was going back and forth on this, and my argument for Tyler to be on Tyler's side is that this has been known from the beginning. If she
Mm-hmm.
knew that this was a need that she was going to need to fulfill, she should never have agreed to be in the quad.
Yep. Yep. And
So if,
she should never have agreed to be in the quad. That's the
yeah,
basis of the entire show.
yeah, if she knew, like, because listen, there are some bisexual people who decide, oh, I'm going to be with either a man or a woman, but I'm going to be faithful to them and I'm choosing
Mm-hmm.
to be with a man. And, I'm going to just be faithful to them and ignore that. And she's pansexual, is anybody. But if like you might have that need to be with a woman at some point, it's not fair to take the rest of the quad on a journey. Like, I don't know what I'm going to or who I'm going to be attracted to today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
Yeah.
what Tyler was trying to say was like, if you are going to, it is fine. I'm okay with it. But what does that mean for the rest of us? Are they being added? Or are you the only one who gets to have a relationship outside of the quad? So you get the quad and you get the outside. Because if that's
Yep.
the case, I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
doing
down for
me.
that. I'm downloading an app right now. Like
Yeah.
he feels like he's ready to go. And the look on Alicia's face where she's like, why can't I be enough? Like why do you need, what do you mean you want to date somebody else? What do you mean you want to find some, like I'm right here, man. Like she
Poor
seemed
baby.
so heartbroken by this.
Yeah, but she still understood. But she's such a peacemaker that she still
Yeah.
understood that. This is what blew my head off when Taya said this. I think it's comical that Tyler thinks this is unethical to be having this hypothetical conversation about this organic connection that I've made, but it's unethical to pursue someone out of spite.
Bars.
Whoa, whoa,
Bars.
whoa.
Ti
I
wrote that for
don't
her.
even think I don't think I fully understood, but I'm like, whoa, that was a lot of big words
It was a
put
lot. And
together
I
in
don't
a
even know what the
sentence.
fuck you just said, but like that was bars though.
Sean actually backs Tyler up. Sean is like,
Yeah.
he's saying that he doesn't mind if that's what you want to do, but he's just saying, like, is it okay for him, to do that? And it's still an issue. They did not resolve it, and that is how they chose to go out the show.
Yeah, that's it. I think that these last two episodes, and in particular this last scene,
Mm-hmm.
what it shows us about Sean, he doesn't have any emotional connection to sex at all. Whether
Mm.
that's him having sex,
Yeah.
Taya having
Having
sex,
sex.
anybody, he doesn't understand. He can't fathom having any kind of emotional attachment to sex. It's just a thing you do. It's
Yes.
it's like having an emotional attachment to like a high five you give somebody. If you want to give somebody a high five, give them a high five. Like it's the same fucking thing to him. And it's,
Yeah.
I think that he has a really hard time sort of understanding Alysia that way, where she puts a
Yeah.
lot of, weight on
Wait.
it. And
Mhm.
he's like, I don't give a fuck anybody. I don't care. Call somebody over here right now. I don't give a damn. And like
Yeah.
that seems to be kind of more or less where Taya's at, where it's like she would like it to be somebody that she's emotional with. I think she had a strong connection with Lex, but I don't think that that is a necessary thing for her the same way that it is for Alysia.
So what is Tyler's angle? Tyler's just greedy, right? Tyler just wants to have
Yeah,
sex with as many people as he can. And he's just like, is this another way out? Like, hey, I'm just and under the guise of I just want to make sure. I'm just trying to be clear.
yeah.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, Tyler wants. I think what Tyler would like, in like in his dream world, would be kind of 6 or 7 rotating different women who each know like a different sexual aspect of what he likes. It's kind of how it feels for me, because it doesn't seem like he tries to or would like to have the same sexy as with Taya with Alicia. Like it just doesn't
Yeah.
seem like that's what he wants her to do, and so I could see him just being like, yeah, if we can just open this up, I can get all kind of things going on here.
Yeah. Because whatever he's not getting from Alicia, he can get from Taya. And then if you get
Mm-hmm.
more, yeah, I could Brenda, Letitia, Gia, Rose
Bam,
on
ba-da,
there.
da.
Exactly. But yeah, so RIP Polyfamily, and then egg on our faces if they announce a season two. But
Oh my
maybe they should
god.
get another. Maybe what they need to do is this: get a different family. Give us six
Yup.
episodes every single time. When you know you have 6 episodes, that's fine. Get us a different
Mm-hmm.
family. Actually, get us a family. Like I said, I'm open to being convinced. Not that they owe me anything. That it's possible to be happy in a I don't know, quad, tri, whatever it is in a poly family. Because I just feel like human beings are not equipped. There's always going to be an Alicia who's
Mm-hmm.
losing out or something. Taya can't have any issue because she's in the position of power. She's the
Yeah.
sought after one. So
Yeah.
it works out for her. She gets care for her babies. She gets the men they adore her. She gets whatever sex she wants. And now, if they all say yes, she gets to even, date someone outside of the quad. So she doesn't have a problem. Like you said, Sean has no issue. Like, as long as I'm getting mine, you can go get yours anywhere else. I don't care.
Yeah. I don't care.
So I think maybe give us different sides because I'm sure they don't represent all of poly families. So give us a different family. Give us 6 episodes every single season, and I think we got something.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I could see doing that, or I could see doing a 90 Day Fiance thing where you follow multiple different couples. But this one couple, they don't have the gravitas to
Mm,
carry a show by themselves. They
yeah.
are not the Plaths. They are not of that ilk, and they should not try to be. And again, shame on those of us a month ago who thought this was the new Sister Wives. Because boy, egg on our face.
Boy, were we wrong.
Shame on us.
Well, once again, Brian, it was such a pleasure discussing this with you. Share with people where they can find you and what you have going on.
Yeah, so I am a co-host with Kim on Maps Virgin. You can listen to the Maps Virgin or Maps Virgin podcast wherever you listen to this podcast. We are finishing up this season of Temptation Island on Netflix. We have one episode to go of that, I think. I'm not sure if they have a reunion, then we have 2 episodes to go. And then after that, we are going to jump into a MAFS season. If you join our Facebook group, the Maps Virgin Fan Club, we have a poll going there right now for whether we're going to do DC or Houston for our MAFS season next. You can also follow us on Instagram and Threads at Maps Virgin, and we have a YouTube channel now. So I think I'm supposed to say smash that subscribe button on the Maps Virgin YouTube channel.
Awesome. And you know where to find me, guys. It is also called MAFS on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky. And please give a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcast. And until the next episode, I'll talk to you then.